All right, moving on. Good stuff, Kevin Wilds. It is that time. Broussard breaking out the Bud list, putting guys on notice. Could Luka be on that list? His Mavs face elimination tonight? I don't know. Not my segment. Broussard knows. It's his. Brew, tell us who's under the most duress in the world of sports.
Well, Luka avoided the list, Jen. I'm not trying to motivate Luka. It's time to get rid of Luka. Get rid of them. Sweep him out of the playoffs. We'll see you next year, Luka. All right, I'm starting with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie vowed his undying love and support and commitment to the Nets after the 4-game sweep against Boston. But GM Sean Marks yesterday, not so fast. He was non-committal when asked about Kyrie being a long-term part of the franchise. So he doesn't do that. He doesn't come out that strong, Sean Marks, unless he's got the backing of ownership. And they've sat down and let him know, look, we're going to let you make this decision. And so Kyrie's got to decide, does he opt out of his last year of his deal, or does he play one more year with the Nets and take care of it next season? If he opts out, it's going to be rough sledding out there on the free agent market. The only teams with big cap room are Detroit, Wilds, Orlando Magic, Indiana, San Antonio, and Portland. None of which I think really want to spend that much money on Kyrie, and none of which he wants to play for, I'm pretty sure. So he's going to have to, humble himself a little bit and get with the program that the Nets are putting forth. So we'll see if he does it. All right, at number 4, sticking with the association, Chris Paul, CP3. I think this is his best chance to win the championship in his career. And the reason they are in a battle royal with Knicks Mavericks is because Chris has not played well the last 3 games. He's averaging 8 points and 7 assists in the last 3 games. He needs to step up, and like I said about Golden State and Memphis, just get rid of Dallas. Don't fool around with these guys, because Nick is right in that they have the best player in the series. You don't want to see him in a Game 7. So take care of business tonight, Chris, and move on to the conference finals. At number 3, Mike Brown. All right, the new coach, because Steve Kerr has COVID. Mike Brown's leading the Warriors, and the new coach officially of the Sacramento Kings. Now, Nick, you might disagree. I don't think this is Mike Brown's fault, but the optics are bad. I mean, the optics are horrible. The last 2 games, they've been outplayed demonstrably by the Grizzlies without Ja Morant. And last night, you get beaten in historic fashion. They look more like the Kings than they do the Warriors since Mike's taken over. So, Mike, go ahead and you got to regroup. Get rid of this team in Game 3. All right, at number 2, we are going to Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. That was great, and that was exciting. But last night, my goodness, he was trying to do too much. 2 turnovers in the last 50 minutes. And ironically, they were defensive plays by Drew Holiday, and against the Defensive Player of the Year that won the game. And Drew blocks his shot. I don't blame Marcus for going for that shot. It looked like he had it, but great play by Drew Holiday. And then here, he misses Jason Tatum wide open on the right sideline. I can't stress that enough. You got to make that play. You're a point guard. You're supposed to have court vision. He also was a part of the Bobby Portis offensive putback that was the game winner when he and Jaylen Brown collided and lost the ball. All right, at number 1, a trifecta. Doc Rivers, James Harden, and Joel Embiid. We all know the deal. They could be eliminated tonight in Game 6 in Philadelphia. The fans are not going to be happy. Doc could lose his job if it happens. James Harden, that lucrative long-term extension, is in jeopardy. And Joel Embiid, the narrative, whether you believe it or not, the narrative is out there that he was moping in Game 5 because he didn't win the MVP. That's soft if that was the case. If it's going to affect you, let it motivate you to go out there and punish the Miami Heat. So the feeling is that Joel better step up, or we going to start thinking, dude, man, you're a little bit soft to be trying to win championships. So the pressure's on those guys, while that is the Bud list.
Okay. I like the Bud list. Granted, you always make fun of me for breaking the rules of the Bud list, and all of a sudden we've got 7 people on a 5-person list. No big deal, but I would just, save the energy when I go a little bit rogue.
Well,
so for number one,
list, so
I'm going to go back and add. Fair point. I'm going to add Sean Marks. Sean Marks' press conference. I guess he read Flashkey's article with Jeannie Buss. He's like, controversy and internal rumblings. Let me do you one better. Let's take a listen to what Sean Marks had to say.
It's honestly not just Kyrie. I mean, you bring Kyrie up, but we have decisions to make on a variety of different free agents throughout our roster. We haven't had any of those discussions yet, so it'd be unfair for me to comment on how it looks with us and Kyrie, because to be quite frank, he has some decisions to make on his own. So he has to look at what he's going to do with his player option and so forth like that. But I think we know what we're looking for. We're looking for guys that want to come in here, be part of something bigger than themselves, play selfless, play team basketball, and be available. And that goes not only for Kyrie, but for everybody here.
Oof. Okay, Nick. Oof. Want to be something bigger than themselves. Don't play selfish basketball. Be available.
Who's he talking
Sean
about?
Marks was hired by the Brooklyn Nets because of his Spurs pedigree. What he is describing is Spurs basketball. And right now, with the construction of the roster and the drama off court between Ben and Kyrie, and KD is as close to being Duncan-esque as possible, but he's a little happy on Twitter, gets a little loose on Twitter. But the guy is about basketball. But that's it. There's so much other drama. This team is so far from being the Spurs team that Sean Marks was supposed to make. I think he's starting to feel it. Like, man, how did I get into this mess? I thought I was going to recreate the Spurs right down to bringing Patty Mills here, and it's not working out. So I've got Sean Marks on the Bud list, Nick.
Yeah, listen, I think let's just stay here. I think it's a good addition. Unless Sean Marks, I hope, logged into a Twitch stream to relay that message to Kyrie, or else I'm not sure he's going to get it. Now, it's kind of rude of Sean Marks, if you ask me, Brew, to be talking about the Nets front office plans without the full front office in attendance. I mean, Kyrie Irving is his partner in this decision about what to do with Kyrie Irving. So one would think we could have been asking Kyrie Irving questions about the next plans to extend or not Kyrie Irving. But here's what I wonder, Brew. Sean Marks is not a dumb man. He either is saying these things because he does not care how they land with Kyrie, or he's saying these things almost as a challenge to Kyrie. And I don't know if it's a challenge to be more available or a challenge to open up the possibility of not being a Net. Because I do not think the Nets want to give Kyrie Irving a 4-year maximum extension. And Kyrie no longer can play the card of, well, that's fine. You don't want me. You're not going to have KD. KD is locked in till 2026. Right. And I think Sean Marks is feeling a little empowered because despite how disastrous the last couple seasons have gone, finally he does not have the players holding full leverage over him. And I think you're seeing Sean Marks say, we've tried it your guys' way. We fired Kenny Atkinson. We ran it with DeAndre Jordan. We let you guys run things. It has gone as poorly as possible. Now we are going to try to get back to the culture we had when KD and Kyrie got here. When we had good culture but not enough talent. Now we have a ton of talent and no culture. I think that's the message he's trying to relay.
No, I agree with you. And I think Sean Marks did a good job yesterday. They've got to regain control of the franchise, as I said, after they were swept by Boston. Here's what I do if I'm the Nets. I sit down with Kyrie. I don't wait for him to make a decision about his contract. I sit down with him soon and say, look, Kyrie, we love you. Your game is awesome. There's no question about that. We want you to be a part of our franchise long term. But we can't sign you to a long-term contract with what's happened over the past few years. You haven't played enough games, whether it was injuries or personal reasons, the vaccination, whatever. We can't do that. So we're asking you to opt into the last year of your deal. We believe, Kyrie, we can win the title next year. We got KD. We got you. Ben Simmons is now healthy and will be back. We can win it. Let's run it back, and then we'll take care of you after next season. But right now, that's what I would say. And if Kyrie's like, nah, thanks, but no thanks, I'm opting out, I'm like, then I let you, okay, test the free agent market. We'll look at possible signing trades. And if it came down to re-signing him, 1 year deal. 1 year deal, maybe a 2 year with the second year as a team option. But I'm not giving you a long-term deal. And the market out there isn't going to be great for Kyrie either. So he